One time, Ashley, my daughter, we were doing some work Sunday afternoon, middle afternoon, and she came up to me and out in the yard, and she had this nasty looking wound on her leg, and it looked really narcotic. It was hot, it was red, it was very painful, and took her over to my neighbor, and he was an old retired doctor, and I said, Dr. Murphy, what are you ready? He says, Virginia, get me a charcoal poultice out of the freezer. She already had it made up. He would not tell me what it was, because he knew if I knew what it was, I'd take her on in and have it cut out. And he says, you just put this on, come back tomorrow night, and we'll look at it again. Just calm as you. And so we did that. Went back the next evening, and I had not seen this one before. Now I know what to look for. And the redness was gone, the hardness was gone, the heat was gone. It looked so much better. I said, okay, what was it? He said, oh, it's just brown recluse.
Oh my goodness, brown recluse.
Brown recluse bite. Do you know she has no scar on her leg? And we've helped so many people over the years who come in with brown recluse bites, black widow bites, and just use the charcoal poultice. And it stops that deterioration of the tissue. It's amazing how well it works. I had a boy, I was at dispatch. I was at Station 2 one time. Yes?
Would it work for something like a sticker or something that's in there that is not infectants?
Yes.
Something like that too?
Yes. Absolutely, it does. The charcoal poultice will work,
Yes.
also the potato poultice will work.
Yeah.
Yes, sure will. Yes.
How long are you leaving the charcoal poultice in place?
It depends. It's a good question. How long do you leave it in place? If it's a bowl, leave it. Normally the pain will go away. That mustard, I can feel it. Normally a bowl, the pain will diminish significantly to totally diminish within 15 to 20 minutes. When the pain comes back, it means that the charcoal poultice is drawn as much as it will draw. Change it then. But normally we'll leave a poultice on for, again, it depends on what the acuity is. I might leave it on for 3 hours. I might leave it on for 12 hours. He left it on for, even at that acuity, he left it on for 24 hours. Now here's something else that's neat. This is something you might like from the dental standpoint. Let's say you have an infected gum. Tear you off a little piece. This will dry out a little bit. And stick it between the the face and the gum. And that will draw the infection right out of the gum. Just like you stick a little pouch of tobacco in there. And then leave it there for, a couple hours, pull it out, put another one. And that charcoal will pull the infection right out of the gum. It's pretty cool.
So just that, like that alone, you don't need to wrap it up in a little paper towel?
No, that's a cool, if it was when I used the flaxseed, I'd put it in a little piece of paper towel.
Okay.
But in this, I just stick it like that in there. And it just stays in like a little piece of backwards.
Okay.
Like the back patch.
How about brushing your teeth with the charcoal powder?
Good question. Years ago, I took it to my dentist and I asked him to assess it and see if it would be safe to use for brushing my teeth. And you can buy toothpaste with charcoal in it now. And he said it wasn't any problem. Have you found any problems? No.
So we go to a natural dentist, and he says the issue with the charcoal is it can be abrasive to the enamel if you're using it a lot and cause sensitivity.
I don't know. Have you found that true?
Just do it soft.
You just do it soft. My dentist didn't find a problem with it being abrasive either. Yeah. Yes.
When you were talking about making it in the freezer, how do you pull it out of the freezer and how do you thaw it so that it can be used?
You can thaw it either in the
And do
microwave.
you use it room temperature?
Use it at room temperature. Actually, it's going to work better warm. So if I'm making a poultice, to use right now, I use hot water. Why do I want hot water? Hot water is a vasodilator. And so it's gonna pull better with the vasodilation. It allows the toxins to come out because of vasodilation.
You were saying microwave it, can you do that? Like you had it rolled up with a saran wrap, like where you can put it in the microwave like
Yes, you can just microwave it. Yes, ma'am. If you don't have a microwave, you can just set a pot of hot water inside that Ziploc bag, and that'll warm it up.
So the plastic or the microwaves aren't an issue to the culture?
You're not internally using it, and so you're just drawing. I had a phone call one time, and I was down on the interstate at our station 2, and we got toned out to a call, and said that someone had been stung by a bee, and they were allergic of bees, and EMS was at level 0. That meant they didn't have any available ambulances. So Walter ran to his truck to go get his med bag because it's better than what's in our car trucks. And then I was going towards the truck, and dispatch called, and I answered it, and it was Karen, the dispatcher. She says, "Walt, where are you?" I said, "Station 2." She says, "I was hoping you there." She told me who it was. I know the person, and he's very allergic to bees. And she says, "He ain't doing good." So I told Walter we just took his truck. His truck's a lot faster than the fire truck. And so we got there, and he was either plumb out or he'd come back fighting. He'd go plumb out, come back fighting. He's at that time he was active. It was active military, and he was at home. His skin was white. Is this right here? His blood pressure was 72 over low 40s. His pulse was well up in 100 and some. So EMS is at 0. And so I said to the lady, I said, as wife, I said, "I wish I had some activated charcoal because we're not allowed to carry activated charcoal on the trucks." And well, Walter probably had some in his bag, now that I think of it. But we didn't have it on the trucks. Tennessee says it's too dangerous. Can't use it. Crazy. So I said, "I wish I had some activated charcoal." She says, "I got some. I bought it from you 2 years ago." So she told her brother to go get some go get some charcoal. He ran to the garage. He grabbed the charcoal bag, and it was charcoal briquettes for barbecuing. You don't want that kind. So we sent him back because that's got stuff in it to make it burn. You don't want to use that, especially if you ingest it. So sent him back to get the right stuff, brought it back, and all I did was pour it out in my hand, pour some water on there, make a little paste, put it on him, and literally within 2 minutes, skin color back. He was alert and oriented, speaking with us. His blood pressure within 2 minutes had gone up near up, it was like 98, almost 100, over the low 70s. Pulse had come down below 100 that quick.
Wow.
2 minutes. Finally, EMS gets there. I told the medic what we did. On the way to the hospital, halfway there, the medic told him that he wasn't going to get in trouble with the ER doc. He was taking that mess off. He told me within 1 minute, his lips went numb. He passed out. That's how effective charcoal poultices can be. It's amazing.
Put the pulses
Let me
back
wash my
on.
hands. Pardon?
What happened? Did you put the pulses back on?
No, he started running at me. Yeah, heavy.
IV.
I don't know. I wasn't in there. I don't know. Yeah, crazy. He ended up living. I mean, he didn't die. Be careful. Be careful with an EpiPen. An EpiPen, unless it's changed, which I doubt it has, but Epi, they taught us that it can quit working on like a bee sting or whatever within 20 minutes. And that's why there's usually 2 doses in there. And so what happens is the person takes it and they think, oh, I'm doing fine, I don't need to go to the doctor. And then there's a problem. It can come back and have a problem, just like Narcan. Who's used Narcan? Use Narcan, somebody?
Haven't had to use it lately.
And between what we use, what the helicopter used, and what they use at UT, 29 doses of our Narcan. 29 doses. Yeah, crazy. And so the charcoal pulses just does so much better than the drug does. This is another pulse I like. It's called the cabbage pulses. Who's ever done a cabbage pulse? What did you use it for? Inflammation. Do you use green or red? Green. Don't ever use red. One night, I had this guy come over from England. He had hemorrhoids really bad, internal hemorrhoids. They couldn't fix them over in London, so he came over to us. And one night at 9 o'clock, he's going to bed, and so I still called us, and I don't know where my staff member was, it was home. So he came and he said, can you get me a cabbage pulses? I said, sure. So I went to the kitchen, opened up the refrigerator, and there was only red cabbage. And I thought, thank you. I thought, oh, well, that's okay. It worked. Well, yes, it works, but it also has a side effect. He stained his underwear, his pajamas, the sheets, all the bed, he even stained the carpet. Don't use a red cabbage. All right. So you want it to make it bleed. I mean, you can go and put it in the Cuisinart, but you want it to bleed. You can use the butt of a knife or whatever. What do y'all usually make it? How do you do it? Just like that, yeah. And now it's all juicy from the cabbage juice, and you apply it to the affected area. And you can use it for inflammation, hemorrhoids, even, let's say you've got a fractured arm and you've got a lot of pain, and you say it's an hour to the hospital. You can put it on there and it can help with the pain. So it works quite well. It's just cabbage poultice. What's another thing you can use cabbage poultice for? I had a lady call the other day. Pardon? Overproduction of breast milk. She wanted to dry up. She had stopped nursing because she could not produce enough. I wish she'd called us. But she was still having leakage 2 years later. Terrible. This right here can stop that. Now, what do you do if you want to increase breast milk? I am a huge supporter of breast milk. Huge. In 1969, Tennessee was the 4th healthiest state in the United States. In 2009, Tennessee was the 4th unhealthiest state in the United States. The first reason was the food that we ate. In 1969, when we went out to eat, we went to Grandma's house. In 2009, who knows where people were eating? Restaurants, fast food. In 1969, if we drank a soft drink, it was very rare, and it was a very small bottle. In 2009, people would get the gulps and they can refill and refill and refill. In 1969, I rode my bicycle to school. Unless I was in trouble, then Dad made me walk. But we played a lot of ball. We moved. We had chores. We did a lot. In 2009, people were sitting around on the phone. Kids were not exercising. I go into schools today and teach, and they have no recess for kids. The only physical activity they have. Where's our PE teacher? There you are. The only thing they have for these kids is if they're in competitive sports.
What's that?
That's it. If you're not in competitive sports, you don't go outside and do anything. You stay in class and do class all day long. That's terrible awful. Lack of exercise. And do you want number 4 was? Lack of breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is so important for congestion, for bone health, for digestive health, for cardiac health, immune system. There's so many reasons that children need to breastfeed. And I have little girls come in, and let's say they bring their kids in for croup or colic. Normally, that is because they don't breastfeed. They use some formula. And if they breastfeed, I rarely see that. And I'll say, why don't you breastfeed? That's gross. My friends don't breastfeed. And so it's sad. But I do have gals sometimes that have problems with breastfeeding. We had a doctor come in one time, and his wife, she just was not producing. And so we had her do fenugreek. That's the big one. And there's a tea called Mother's Milk, which is really good. And we also gave her some marshmallow root. That's not the marshmallows that you eat. It's marshmallow root. It's an herb. She became a Holstein. I mean, this woman was producing. And literally she had to cut back. She was producing so much milk. The next time they had a child, the doc was right back and he said, we need to do the same thing again. And it works. We even have ladies come in who adopt and Meredith gets them breastfeeding. Isn't that cool? The that bonding with the child, and then all those benefits that the child has, and they're it's not their child. They just adopted the child. They're able to breastfeed the child. But breastfeeding is so important. But if you want to stop the milk or slow down, you can use this guy right here. Who's ever had rocket fuel?
Rocket had what?
Rocket fuel. I learned it from a lady, actually from Oregon. She was one of my staff, and it works really well. So I'll show you how to make it.
You need to move on.
Pardon?
I think the power outlet's over here.
Okay, we'll fill it here and we'll go over there.
Okay.
You can help me, son. I need 5 clothes of garlic.
You just want to peel.
Yes, ma'am. 5 clothes and 5 clothes. So here's the recipe. 5 cloves of garlic, half an onion, thumb of ginger, a piece of ginger, size of your thumb, 2 lemons, cayenne pepper, 1/8 to 1/2 teaspoon, we'll start with an 1/8, it can get hot, of cayenne pepper. And if you have it, Alimed, if you have it, elderberry extract of a teaspoon. If Mary Lou was here, she'd use a red one. She says it's perfect. So I'm gonna use this and do something else at the same time. Okay, you'll put those in there if you can squeeze 2 lemons for me.
Do you care about the seeds?
If you put, just, it'll be fine. I messed up, I went one to the bottom. Here's your stems. Oh, great, that's it. Do y'all like ginger?
Yeah.
So, let's see here, cayenne. Did I mention honey?
Could you explain what you did to the onion, because you did something different.
I did. I hollered it out. And I'm gonna use this for something else, so I'd use the same onion and not waste it. I'll show you in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's kinda odd.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I need 2 tablespoons of honey. And, let me grab it. You got an 1/8?
Yeah.
Is that an 1/8 right there? I'm gonna just do an 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne, because I don't wanna make it too hot. Now, I normally do, you help me make a decision. I normally do 1 tablespoon of honey. Mary Lou does 2 tablespoons of honey. Do you want Mary Lou's or do you want mine? No, we'll do Mary Lou's. I did a thumb of ginger. So here's what's in there. This water here, do y'all have city water? Very well. Is that city water?
This is bottled water if you want good water.
Where's your bottle? I need probably. Do you have any more?
Yeah.
I need about a little bit, about 2 of these. Maybe 2.5. So we're also putting elderberry, so here's what's in here. We've got 5 cloves of garlic, half of an onion, piece of ginger size your thumb, 2 lemons, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons of honey, and now we're going to put a tablespoon of elderberry extract.
Tablespoon or teaspoon?
Pardon?
Tablespoon or teaspoon?
Tablespoon.
Elderberry.
Okay. So this is a tincture, so I probably won't use this. But you can do an elderberry extract. Yeah, this is going to taste different, so I won't do this. But this works good but not for what we're doing. We'll do it a little bit. But this is the original recipe that we're doing at this time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to
Right here, she was unaccounted.
okay, thank you. So while we're letting that heat up, who's ever done an onion and honey? So what you do is you holler out an onion like this. Don't do what I did. It pulled out the bottom, so I stuck it back in. We'll see if it holds. It's hard to do. Sometimes it pull out like that. I went too deep. Because you don't want it to leak in the pot. And to save money, what you do is you take the onion like this. You take the honey and you pour the honey into the onion. Now you want to leave enough meat on here, at least a 1/2 inch of meat on there for the onion to then go into the honey. And so you pour this up and you put your honey in here. You put it in a pot of water about this deep. You want it to float and turn over, but you put it in some water in the pot on low and leave it there about 20 minutes. And what will happen is the onion will go into the honey, and this makes a cough syrup. You can put lemon in it if you want to. Also, has anybody ever done this before? Maybe. It's real simple. It's just it makes a simple cough syrup or something for your throat. Another item. Pardon?
Put it, just cut onion in a jar with honey in it.
Yeah,
That's it.
do the exact same thing.
Okay.
Sure. My favorite item for sore throat is slippery elm. You do not have to worry about overdosing on slippery elm. I had a Cherokee come one time. We live near Cherokee, North Carolina. And he came in, and I love learning from the Indians. They have so much knowledge on herbs. And he told me that when they used to, years ago, would go from village to village, and for food, they would bark an elm tree and eat the inner bark, and that was their food. Well, that reminded me, back when I was in school, I don't know when, one of my history teachers, it was a male who said this. I just remember being a male. He said that for 2 weeks, Washington and the army there, they were out of food due to a huge snowstorm. And they were cut off of supplies coming into the troops. And so Washington had his men eat the inner bark of the elm tree for 2 weeks for food.
Wow.
So you don't have to worry about overdosing on this stuff. So what I do is you can take it and put it in your water bottle, stir it in, or making a tea. It works extremely well as a little tea, and it soothes my throat. I carry, in my bag up there, I carry slippery elm in case I'm speaking. Sometimes I get a sore throat. I'll take slippery elm, and it stops it. I was in Crossville, Tennessee a couple years ago, and I hadn't taken it with me. And I was having I was struggling speaking. And this lady went out, she had some slippery elm in her car, made me a nice little tea, I drank it, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or less. Boom, gone. That's totally gone. People couldn't believe how quick it resolved the problem. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is phenomenal. It heals tissue. You know, I mentioned, using the vinegar. Well, then I'll put aloe vera on it. And then when it starts burning again, then I'll do vinegar again and then put aloe vera on it. But aloe vera is very good for tissue outside, but tissue also inside. Your gastrointestinal tract is tissue. So whether you just had an endoscopy or you just had surgery or intubated, this guy here and this guy here are great for addressing those esophageal issues after those procedures. Let's say you have gastritis or stomach issues. The aloe vera is tremendous for healing that tissue. If you have problems in the colon, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, colitis, this is a tremendous tool for addressing those issues of the gastrointestinal tract. Also, I'm making potato soup. If a person has any of those issues with the stomach, I'll do potatoes, carrots, celery, and onions. A whole quart each meal. That's all you eat for 21 days. But the phytochemicals that God put in those potatoes, carrots, celery, and onions heal the stomach and the colon when it's mad. I also like using carrot powder, 1 teaspoon, twice a day, in water or in applesauce. If a person has gastritis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, or colitis, you don't want to eat anything raw, nothing raw, except a banana. Everything else, it's kind of like if you've got road rash and you run with sandpaper on it. It's too coarse. Even juice, you want to, who's ever put up juice?
Yeah.
You cook it a little bit first. And so what happens is even if you drink vegetable juice, you want to, or any type of juice. So if you go into the grocery store and it's in the refrigerated section, it is raw. If it's on the shelf, it's been put up, right? It's been canned to go in the glass jar, so you can drink all those juices on the counter. I mean, in the shelf. The food, the first 3 weeks, nothing but the potato soup. After that, until it's resolved, it's going to be cooked fruit, applesauce, pear sauce, peach sauce, or let's say like what you made yesterday. Was it yesterday morning? You made, you had the apples, and then what was the other item? Apricots. And you cooked them up a little bit. And so let's say it's Sunday morning, you're making waffles. And so you're putting either blueberries, or you're doing cherries or peaches, and you cook it up a little bit, and then you put it on there. You want to cook all your fruit first before you ingest it if you're having gastritis, colitis, ulcerative colitis, or Crohn's. Until it's resolved. During this time, there's no caffeine. No wheat. Also no dairy during this time. What else? No alcohol. And alcohol will make it plumb mad. Stress will make it mad. Manage the stress. And then I do a formula. And it's just stuff like this, and this is the formula. It's 2 parts psyllium whole. Now psyllium whole looks like brown plastic. Psyllium powder, like we had, is powderized. You want psyllium whole. 2 parts psyllium whole, 1 part slippery elm, a 1/2 part marshmallow root, a 1/4 of a part peppermint powder, and a 1/4 of a part spearmint powder. All those are powder except the psyllium. It's whole. Mix it together in 30 minutes before you eat. You take 2 tablespoons, put it in some water, stir it up, and drink it fast. It will turn like thick. even with the hole, it will thicken up. But those phytochemicals in those herbs are amazing. 25 years? Yes, go ahead.
Could you rip through that list again?
Absolutely. 2 parts psyllium whole, 1 part slippery elm powder, a half part.
Watch the hot water.
Oh, good, thank you. Okay, we're going to want to pour this in here, and we want to equal 1 quart. So wherever that quart was. Okay, you're good. Excellent, all right, thank you. So it is 2 parts slippery elm, two parts psyllium whole, a half a part, 1 part slippery elm, a half a part marshmallow root, a 1/4 of a part peppermint powder, and a 1/4 of a part spearmint powder. Okay, hang on a second, we'll clean this up a moment. All right, we'll let that cool down a moment. So about, 25 years ago, I had a problem with ulcerative colitis. I got it when I was 36, I guess 37. And 37 probably. And I was on Imuran, Acecol, prednisone, and finally it just quit working after a number of years. And I went from 209 pounds down to 140 pounds. My skin was gray in color. I had over 30 stools a day that were loose. I just decided I didn't want to eat. It was terrible. I couldn't hardly eat anything. And I had no interest in eating. And the gastroenterologist said, well, you're going to die. People can die of ulcerative colitis, you're going to die. So when a doctor tells you you're going to die, you go to somebody else. And I went to another guy. They'd gone to Loma Linda, and he did natural medicine. And in 6 months, it was totally healed. Plain. And that's been almost 25 years ago, something like that. And it works. And we're being able to help many folks by using that same formula that he gave me. And it is, I have seen people with even Crohn's go away in just 3 months. That's remarkable how well it can work. And so God has given us these simple remedies that we have at home, that we can use, and we don't see the side effects that we see like prednisone. I mean, literally, I was on prednisone for over 2.5 years, and most of the time I was on at 60 milligrams. Now, 60 milligrams is good for you every day? No, not at all. It did not make me grow weight-wise. As you can see, I went from right at 210 down to 140. It made me mean as a striped snake. I mean, I was irritable. It was like 1,000 horses wanted to jump out at me all the time. I was hard to deal with. I'd get home, Mary Lou hands me a B complex. She didn't want to deal with that. And it was just, it was terrible. So we see many side effects in pharmaceuticals today. What is the key? The key is to identify identify the cause, get the root cause, and correct it. Now, the best key is if you can prevent it by those basic laws that we talked about this weekend. They're phenomenal. Proper nutrition, the right fuel that you put in the body. I remember one time, Walter grabbed the wrong fuel for our chainsaw. He put gasoline in it, plum gasoline. And it didn't take no time to it seized up. And I had to have the engine rebuilt. The same thing's for us. Harvard says the brain has a hard time getting rid of processed foods. And so the right fuel is so important that we put in our bodies. Putting, exercise, having the right exercise. And Duke found that 4 times a day is best. Just walking. Rebounding is great. Whatever you can do to increase that vascular flow and circulation. It also increases lymphatic flow. Your lymph pumps don't work if you're motionless. It's motion that causes the lymph to move. And that means you got to get up and move. Clap your hands if you can't do anything. Take a newspaper. Beat on yourself, That gets stuff moving. Adequate water, hydration. Get sunshine. Don't sit in the house all the time. Look in your mind's eye of those old sanitariums years ago, and the people sitting in them rolling chairs. They called them rolling chairs back then instead of wheelchairs. Big wheel in the front, little wheel in the back. And where'd they take the patients? They roll them outside during the day. Put a little lap robe on them, on their legs, and they sat out under the trees. They still get some sunshine, but they were getting fresh air and sunshine, and the birds tweeting, and the squirrels hollering, and that was good. Temperance, making the right decisions of what you eat, but also even who you run with. I remember one time I came home and for supper, and Walter said something that was just out there. And he was probably, 12, 14, something like that. And I said, Mary Lou, have y'all been with somebody today? Because Walter didn't know that. She says, yes, some folks just moved in from New York, upstate New York, and they just moved in. We went over and met with them, and Walter played with the boy. I said, Walter, if I hear anything like that again, you ain't playing with them kids no more. Several weeks later, supper, Walter said something way off the wall again. I said, Mary Lou, did you ever play with them kids again today? Mm-hmm. No more. Do we not do that for our kids? Protect our kids and who they run with? Well, protect yourself and who you run with. You got to protect yourself also. Fresh air. And it's not just breathing fresh air like y'all are so blessed with here, but do you breathe like a chihuahua? Or do you have diaphragmatic breathing? Good breathing. And then sleep. Sleep is important. But the most important is trusting God. That's the foundation. That is the foundation. What I have shared to you today is not the goal. The goal is those 8 items and be healthy. If you do get sick, continue the 8 items. Plus, then you can use this stuff to repair yourself to get back where you belong. If that makes sense. What kind of questions y'all have? Yes?
My first one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preference on what type of cooking pans to use, whether like stainless steel or, cast iron, that kind of thing? Or is there?
I like cast iron. Cast iron has arm.
Right.
And you have some, but there are people whose arm's too high and they can't use cast iron. I like cast iron. I grew up with it. That's what we had. Stainless steel, I understand, is good. Do you have a preference?
I just don't like anything with the coatings.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Like the non-stick ones.
I don't like them. Yes, ma'am.
So what's the rocket fuel for?
Pardon?
What's the rocket fuel for?
Yeah.
The rocket fuel, let's go ahead and pour this up. Rocket fuel is for your immune system.
Oh, boy.
I make sure we should drink it.
And you drink a whole quart within, say, 30 minutes to an hour.
That is rocket fuel.
Well,
Yes.
can I mix the rocket fuel with the potato soup?
Try it first and see what you think.
How you gonna have that much soup?
Okay, is this what we, just, and then, because we got, I don't know if we have enough cups here. We'll do what we can, yeah, just so they can try it. So it's for the immune system, literally, we closed our deli several years ago. Mary Lou got sick on me. I had this lady come in 21. She came in 21, she was from New York Times. And how she found out about us, I have no idea. So she came in, she was some highfalutin writer from New York Times. And she wanted to find out why I was not insisting that people get vaccinated. And all I was doing was telling people, pray about it.
Drink it down and be good.
If God said take the vaccine, take it. If God said don't take it. Well, she didn't understand. What do you think?
You taste the lemon.
I think it's good.
I taste the lemon.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
That's good.